Hello, in this section of the tutorial we're going to work our way up to dealing with learning how to use equations when they're in polar coordinates with the calculator. And so in the future sections we'll be graphing those equations in polar coordinates. But before we get there, I want to discuss how we can use this calculator to just do simple conversions back and forth between rectangular and polar coordinates. It turns out that the calculator has a lot of built-in functions that really help us in that regard, and so it kind of saves some legwork. You can do all of this by hand, it just saves a lot of time. So first thing you need to do is just see where you're at. Go in the mode menu and just look and see that right now we're in radian mode, so all of the angles I put in, the calculator is going to assume that they're in radian mode, and also any angles that the calculator gives back to me are automatically going to be in radians. So let's leave it right there for right now, and everything else is fine. So we'll get out of there and we'll go off to the angle menu, which is the same menu that we were using earlier in the course. And basically we want to focus our attention to the last few entries here, 5, 6, and 7. And so right here, this is telling you take a rectangular coordinates and convert it to polar coordinates, but it's only going to give you back the polar magnitude r. And here, if you have a rectangular coordinate, the calculator will convert polar theta for you. So basically, if you put an xy coordinate in, you can use these two functions and it'll spit out the polar r, which is the radius in polar coordinates, and theta, which is the angle from the x-axis. So you basically can get the coordinates back separately and do your conversion. So let's go ahead and hit 5. We'll hit 5, and so it's telling us here you have a rectangular number, convert it to polar, and it's asking me for the rectangular number. So let's do something simple, the xy coordinate. So I'm going to put 1, 1, just as an example here. And so what it's asking me for, rectangular number of 1, 1, let's convert that to polar, but it's going to return for us r, the magnitude r, because remember in polar coordinates, it still takes two numbers, but r is the radius from the origin, and theta is the angle from the x-axis. So the calculator came back and said, look, the radius, if you go into polar coordinates, is 1.414. The reason